Fort Campbell Boulevard, Hopkinsville.
Herb Hayes Furniture, always the best.
Have you been a victim of debit or credit card fraud? Farmers Bank and Trust can help lessen your risk of getting taken advantage of. As our customer, you have exclusive access to a security feature in our app that will allow you to turn your debit card off while you're not using it, then turn it on instantly when you need to use it. Keep your information safe. Log into our free app to use this feature, increasing the security of your information right now. Not a Farmers Bank customer? Come down. Let us set up your account and start protecting you from potential fraud opportunities. This is not a guarantee that your information will not be compromised. This is an increased security measure. Farmers Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Good morning and welcome to the Saturday Morning Quarterback Show. Last night, the Tigers advanced to the regional final for the 6th consecutive year and saw their record go to 10-2 with a gutsy 40-27 victory over the LaRue County Hawks. This is Bob Hayes, and with me in studio this morning is David Barnes and one of David's ex-coaches from Owensboro, Gary Bartlett. We'll begin to break down the game when we return after these messages from our sponsors.
This is Gail Cherry. I'm a board member for Community Medical Clinic located at 310 Hawthorne Street in Princeton. Community Medical Clinic's goal is to provide access to excellent health care services that are both convenient and affordable in our local community. Community Medical Clinic is taking new patients every day and walk-ins are welcome. The clinic is open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. to serve you and your family members of all ages. All insurances are welcome, as well as patients with no insurance. Community Medical Clinic, providing health care services at your convenience at no extra cost.
Mobile Deposit is here. This is Mona Van Hooser with First Southern National Bank, and our new mobile app is loaded with extra features, including mobile deposit. Now you can use your smartphone's camera to deposit checks on the go. Just endorse, point, click, and send. Download our new mobile app and try it today. First Southern National Bank, member FDIC.
Chances are you're on your way somewhere. And you're on your way somewhere at the same time McCafe is introducing a new menu of recrafted espresso drinks, including the iced caramel macchiato, sweet caramel, drizzled over smooth iced espresso. Now chances are you're on your way to McDonald's. Nothing comes before coffee. Get any small from our new line of recrafted espresso drinks. Cafe quality for just $2. A la carte only. Limited time only at participating McDonald's. Cannot be combined with any other offer or any combo meal.
And we're back here to the Quarterback Show, and it was a very interesting game last night, David, at Tiger Stadium. A tough physical game, and I thought the Tigers came through in a fashion where we have come to know that they can play and play well in games that matter.
You know, the main thing we told them after the game was that how proud we were of their effort. I mean, I thought we got a great effort out of our kids last night. I think they came out ready to play. You know, defensively we did a good job. You know, we gave up a couple of big plays, but we did. You know, we get. I think on that first series they get down there and we hold them and they don't get a first down and we get the ball back. Just an overall good team effort, good win for our football team.
And also, we had the situation where we fell behind a couple times last night and had to catch up at one point down over 7 points. And I thought the kids handled that real well and didn't panic. And I'm sure we did not go away from our game plan. And throughout the night, I knew our defense was getting better. We were getting stronger here. They were weakening a little bit, especially in the second half when they got very little done in the second half.
I thought we did a really good job on the quarterback the second half. We got some pressure on him, and he got rolling out and throwing the ball up a couple times. We get to one pick, but he took some hits. We got our kids were getting upfield and making plays on him, and that kind of took some things away from him offensively.
And the other thing, which was always glad to see in a game where we're noted to be a passing team, we actually ran the ball really effectively last night. And not with just 2 or 3 or 4 men at the line of scrimmage or in the box. Thought our offensive line played well last night to get Jameer his yards.
You know, they did defensively. They totally did something that they hadn't shown on film. And, you know, we worked against the forefront all week long. And every film we'd seen, they was a forefront. And so last night they went to a 3-2 look with 3 down linemen. And, you know, that was a changeup that we hadn't seen, which really didn't cause us a problem because we'd seen a lot of that look during the season. And on the run game was, you know, they were getting 5 men in the box sometimes, which helped us in on the run stuff. Our guys did a good job on that. Passing-wise, in the first half, they messed some things up. We had to get fixed at halftime.
We'll talk about what adjustments we did make in half, because I know not only do we make adjustments, the other team also makes adjustments. But the Tigers win the toss last night, and as we have all year, we defer until the second half. And LaRue County, on their first possession of the ball, they moved for 2 first downs, converting one of them on a 3rd and 12 by the pass, which we wanted them in 3rd and long, but on that particular play, they converted, and kind of the thought fleetingly went through my mind, hopefully don't do this all night. I'm sure it went through your mind as well.
You're right.
And finally, we hold and make LaRue turn it over on downs at our 35-yard line. The Tigers then score in 3 plays, aided by a pass interference penalty, and Jameer Riley took it the final 30 yards on that play. I don't know whether that play was designed to go inside, but he broke it outside, and getting past one man, he had the corner turn and open lane to the end zone.
That play's designed to hit right off the outside leg of the guard. But I think probably sometimes there's going to be a cutback lane, sometimes there's not, and sometimes it hits outside depending on what the linebacker flow is. Jameer did a good job of reading where that hole hit it and stuck his toe in the ground and got upfield. That was a good run.
That's the other thing that Jameer has impressed me so much this year, especially when he's run the ball so effectively the last part of the season, is he's given up this east-west stuff to go north-south, and I mean, it just looks to see what it does for him, and once he breaks a tackle or two, and he's prone and capable of doing that, he's effective for us.
Well, see, he hadn't really ever played back there until this year. You know, we moved him from a receiver spot that he played last year, and about midway through the year is when we made that move to the F, and that's been a big help.
And Jameer takes it the final 30 yards, and Caldwell at that time up 6-0, and we missed the extra point. And was that when they was that just a miss, or was that when they penalized us and moved us back 5 yards?
I think we got penalized for. I think we had a snap infraction or something, and they moved us back 5, which really, you know, that shouldn't have a problem. I don't know if it was. I didn't.
And I'm not sure either. I know that when we missed one of the two, we hooked it. He got good leg on both.
On that first one, though, the kids when they came off the field, they said it went right down the middle of. They said it went right down the middle of the goalpost.
Well, let's don't get on the officials this early in the broadcast. I wish I'd.
But you know, we had problems all night, or a few more times on our extra point, which has not happened all year long. I don't know what was going on there, but we had some issues there.
Well, and we go up 6-0 with 7 minutes 9 seconds left in the first quarter. LaRue County then runs 3 plays, and their third play is they score on a 60-yard pass. The receiver for LaRue County breaks a tackle in the middle of the field, and we have no center field coverage, and he's just got open grass.
We were in zero coverage, and I think our DB kind of tried to undercut the throw and didn't make the play. And when you're sitting there zero, no safety in the middle of the field, you know, you're going to give up big plays sometime, and that's what happened there.
We go down. LaRue makes the extra point. This is with 5 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the first quarter. They go up 7-6 over the Tigers. Caldwell County then starts from our 30-yard line, and we go for 1 first down. Jameer with 18 yards rushing on that particular drive. And the thought, again, going through my head, we're showing LaRue that we can run the ball, having scored the first touchdown on the run. And in this drive, we have first of several motion penalties last night. And can you enlighten me on maybe what we were doing wrong last night on these 10, 11, 12 motion penalties we got?
I know it was frustrating me on the sideline. I was trying to figure out what was going on. And one time they called it, and I swear Luke just barely flinched. I mean, it was just barely a flinch, and they threw the flag, and that's all. And then it'd be on the. I don't know if all 5 of our guys got one, but I think 3 of the 5 got them at one point during that process.
So this was not on the man doing something in motion that was illegal. It was one of our linemen doing something.
Yeah, twitching.
But Well, maybe we can get the twitches here.
I have to look at it close on film, but
we were looking at it from up in the box and saw nobody flinch or, I mean, you have that impulse move that's easily visible.
well, there was one where number 5, he jumps all the way across the line of scrimmage, and it's going to be against him and one against us. He said he twitched.
Yeah, and the officials bought that argument, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, so on this particular drive, Joby gets sacked for an 8-yard loss, and the Tigers have to punt. Boyce mishandles the snap, and LaRue takes over at the Tiger 24-yard line. Was he just cold, or was he concentrating?
I think he took his eye off the ball and dropped it. And Boyce didn't probably have his best game last night.
We'll talk about him a little bit on a tremendous effort that he showed later in the game. I mean, that makes up for.
Yeah.
I mean, you know where that kid's heart is when you do something like that. But LaRue County takes over on their third possession. They get a first down, but then they turn the ball over on downs when the Tiger defense stiffens. And we were beginning to, in my mind, I think, assume control a little bit at that particular point, even though they had 2 long touchdowns on us. But anyway, we create the turnover on downs, and we take it over at the 18-yard line. Eventually, we make the Tiger our 41-yard line. We suffer another 3 motion penalties on this drive, and we have to punt to LaRue. And we were under heavy rush, and the punt only covers 13 yards. LaRue takes over at their 46-yard line, and in 4 plays, they score on a quarterback keeper. Really an outstanding fake by their quarterback, Dane Milby, on his 42-yard run. Just at the last second, pulled the ball out of the back's belly, and when he hit the line of scrimmage, we knew we weren't going to catch him. And
he's a good quarterback.
Had played well last night, played under a lot of duress and hits and everything else. So at this time, not only did he have the 42-yard run, but he was 3 for 3 in the passing game for 84 yards. LaRue misses the extra point. They get penalized and get back. Their kicker on his try just barely makes the end zone with his kick. So we're down at this point with 7 minutes and 44 seconds to go in the second quarter, 13-6 to LaRue. And here's where we get interesting, and we're about ready and capable of predicting any kind of long return. But we get the kickoff, and Trail gets the seam, gets a couple of key blocks that you talk about in your pregame show every week, and it takes it 75 yards for a touchdown, pulling away from the guys that were chasing him. So something that Trail, we kept thinking he might go out of bounds at the 3-yard line. But a great run for us to take that ball back after their big long run.
He did a really good job of setting up some stuff as he came down the field. He slowed down a little bit, let some things develop in front of him. But the 2 blocks I talked to him about, we got those 2 blocks, and it opened up that seam on that sideline. And Trail did a good job of using his blockers, and we did a good job of making sure we didn't block. The thing I'm always worried about is somebody blocking from behind and getting a penalty on those things. And that was a big momentum change right there.
The wall set up beautifully, and Trail had to negotiate through some crowded territory first 10 yards of that run, but then he got through and got the open lane, and certainly was not going to be caught from behind. So Tigers missed the extra point again. This coming with 7 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the second quarter. LaRue still leads us 13-12. Their next possession, which is their 5th possession of the game, after 3 penalties in that drive, 1 on Caldwell, 2 on LaRue. LaRue has it at their 31, and then Milby is flushed out of the pocket and throws on the run. And as we mentioned before we went on the air today, that when he got flushed out of the pocket and running to whichever side he was running to, he generally would throw the ball up for grabs. And this particular time it was picked off by Jameer Riley and returned 25 yards to the LaRue County 23-yard line. Heavy pass rush. We got after the quarterback numerous times last night, David, when they went to their passing game.
I thought we did I thought our linebackers really played well last night, chasing some stuff down, and we were getting good pressure on the quarterback, and we did I thought for the most part, did a good job of keeping him contained. And we got a number. I don't know how many sacks we had, but we had a few sacks, and that was a great effort by our defense.
And we take over on our fourth drive of the night, and we do a little trickeration. And I was wondering how that play went in practice this week.
We've been working on that play for about 3 weeks, and he said he calls it, and then I think they called a timeout. And he said, "You okay with doing it?" And I said, "Yeah, let's do it. See what happens." And Oliver did a great job of selling the run for about 6 or 7 steps, and then just and he's going to his left. He's right-handed, but in practice he's been hitting. I mean, he's been hitting him in stride every time we've done it. So that's just a great job of those. Travis did a great job of making a play in the end zone on that too.
And Oliver, as you say, had 3 or 4 steps before he even pulled up to even give the impact he was going to throw the ball. And it was a perfectly thrown ball, Travis being interfered in the end zone and still able to hit a perfect pass by Oliver. And Travis goes down as he's falling down, catches it, and we score. And also on that play, we might want to have Oliver. Joby was wide open going down the other side of the field.
I hope E-Town not listening, but that was the second option on that. If Travis, he's supposed to sell it. He's blocking it, and if Travis is not open, then we're going to throw it back to Joby.
Well, Joby would have walked in.
Yeah.
On that.
That's
but
good.
That's real good. It puts a little pressure on the other team, thinking they're going to watch on film and see him wide open.
It amazes me that you saw that. I need to start talking to you maybe on the headset.
Well, I'm no, because I'm probably going to be talking about the officials, telling you what to go ask them or something like that. But no, it opened beautifully from upstairs, and I mean your eyes are able to cover the whole field like that. You see him running free out one side, and you see the ball, and you see Travis down near the end zone, and people bumping into him. And we thought, whoa, pass interference is coming up here. He makes the catch. So we finally make an extra point, and with 5 minutes and 37 seconds remaining in the second quarter, Caldwell County takes a 19-13 lead over LaRue. LaRue's next possession, they take the kickoff, and in 4 plays, they get in the end zone again on their third big play of the half. This time, a 64-yard catch and run with the receiver shaking off a Tiger defender. And that young man, I didn't catch his number, but he was the big guy coming out of the back. I mean, he was
Number 20.
Yeah, he was a load going down the sideline and shook us off. And so they go back, make the extra point. This is 4 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in the second quarter. They're up 20 to 19 over the Tigers. The Tigers on their next possession go for 1 first down, and then Joby is sacked for the second time of the night, and we have to punt. And Boyce gets off a tremendous punt where LaRue elects not to field it. It rolls dead at the LaRue 14-yard line, which really sets us up, as we'll see here shortly, on a short drive. But Boyce, except for the mishandled snap and the late in the game, which it really didn't matter having that one blocked, Boyce punted well all night last night.
He did a good job punting the ball.
And certainly bottled them up in this particular case where they pick up 1 first down, but 3 consecutive running plays for them loses 13 yards, and they're forced to punt on 4th and 19. The Tigers blocked the punt. Dylan Gray, I mean, all night long, it looked like we were going to get to the kicker, and on this particular play, I think 3 kids could have gotten to the punter. Dylan just happened to get there first. And we blocked the punt. You can pick up a blocked punt and return it.
Yes.
I know it rolled around for a split second, and then Hunter covered it up. So we take possession at the LaRue 10-yard line, and after a penalty on LaRue, we throw 1 incomplete pass, and on the next pass, Joby hits Trail with a pass at the line of scrimmage, and Trail fights off 2 or 3 tacklers getting into the end zone, again with his patented lunge and pushing the ball over the plane of the goal line. And we make the extra point and go up 26-20 with 13 seconds remaining in the second quarter. And LaRue gets it one more chance, and and runs one play, and that play ends on a bruising tackle by Cole Baker on their quarterback. Tremendous hit, legal, not dirty. Didn't lay on him after he hit him. Got up, and so we were wondering how the quarterback was going to be coming out in the second half, but obviously he did play. We're going to stop here and take a break time and have some messages from our sponsor, and we'll be back here with the breakdown of the second half after these messages.
Fredonia Valley Bank is offering 2 new interest-bearing checking accounts, the Valley Advantage Checking and the Valley Advantage Plus. Come by Fredonia Valley Bank and let us introduce you to these 2 new accounts that will draw interest monthly. Everyone can use a little extra cash these days, so why not ask about the details today or check out our website at FredoniaValleyBank.com for rates and information. Fredonia Valley Bank is your real community bank with hometown-friendly service you can count on every time. 602 Cassidy Avenue, Fredonia, and 226 Commerce Street, Edaville. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Here's a reminder from your Princeton Electric Plant Board. Meter tampering is dangerous. Tampering with an electric meter is not only dangerous, it is dishonest and against the law. Stealing electricity by tampering with an electric meter may result in your arrest and can even risk your life. Tampering with meters results in increased utility bills that everyone has to pay. If you see anyone tampering with an electric meter, call the Princeton Electric Plant Board right away at 270-365-2031. Princeton Electric Plant Board, Princeton's #1 energy source.
It's that time of year when you'd like to have a little more light around your home, farm, or business, so you can do more things outside. And light for security. A tip from Penny Rile Electric. Make those lights LEDs. LED bulbs last much longer, cost much less to operate. Penny Rile Electric members can enjoy the safety, convenience, and peace of mind with security lights wherever you need them. For more information, call your friends at Penny Rile Electric. Penny Rile Electric, your touchstone energy cooperative.
Planters Bank, located at 208 North Jefferson Street, is locally owned and operated with a strong, sincere focus on customer service. Planters Bank has a diverse team of seasoned professionals in Western Kentucky and Clarksville, Tennessee. Since first opening their doors, Planters Bank has made a name for itself as an energetic player in the financial services market. Stop by and talk to the friendly folks at Planters and find out about the You Choose Rewards program. Planters Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
And welcome back to the Quarterback Show. David, going into the halftime last night with us leading 26-20, you had to be feeling good with the lead. And what adjustments in your mind were we needing to make at halftime last night?
Well, the big play going, getting the score right before half was a big momentum thing. Getting that block punt, and then, Coach Mack, he works every practice. We got a period for him to do punt return, punt block, and we spent a lot of time in it. He does a great job getting that stuff, and it paid off last night. And then the play, we didn't have any timeouts there either in that last series we're going at, and so we get our field goal team lined up. If we had to kick a field goal. But Bradley and Will, they really worked together well. Bradley being up top, and they started. They said, well, we haven't ran it. We worked this play, we haven't run it. It's a pretty good play against the man coverage, and it worked perfect. And Trail got in the end zone, so that was a big momentum change. So we get in at halftime. They were doing some stuff with our offensive line. They were rushing 3 a lot of times, but we weren't getting the outside guy blocked, and the guard wasn't bumping out, and so we had to went overboard, got that all lined out, and I think we did a lot better job of the second half. That was where they were getting some pressure on us. On those couple of sacks that they got,
and those 2 sacks came in the first half.
Yeah.
So,
the good thing is, this offensive line is at the beginning of the year, they hadn't had 0 starts. They've had 12 starts now. Last night, when we were talking to them, trying to get them straightened out, they were very attentive. They were paying attention. They were upset that they gave up the sack, and that's good. And they got it fixed. And I'm really proud of those kids.
And obviously all these kids are back for next year, but we're not worried about next year yet.
But adjustment-wise, that was the main adjustment offensively. We knew we were able to run the football, and we were doing a pretty good job there. But the big adjustment was making sure we got that the pressure getting to the quarterback.
In our blocking assignments, obviously did come into play in the second half and aid us on that. And as we mentioned at the beginning of this, broadcast, we were going to receive the second half kickoff, which we did, and we started a drive that would eventually produce a touchdown. An early big play on that drive was a 16-yard pass to Jameer, where Joby was rolling out to his right, and I'm not sure who the receiver in that part of the field was, probably Oliver, but it looked like he was being pressured. He turns back and throws it back to Jameer, who's wide open on our side of the field and able to get upfield for 16-yard gain. Was that a check down?
Pretty much what you explained there is what happened. You know, Joey on his first two reads, it wasn't there, and anytime, you know, we teach our quarterbacks, if you get in trouble, feel like you get in trouble, find your back. And Jameer, you know, he swings out to almost to the numbers, and he's sitting out there, nobody on him, and Joey did a great job of finding the back and got him out of it.
A well-thrown ball, which Joby throws. His balls are 99% of the time really well thrown and easily catchable. One play later, we throw an inside screen to Gabe East, and Gabe knows what to do with the football now. He's getting to be dangerous when we get the ball in his hands, and he catches it. Has to cut back to our side of the field to the pylon and is drugged down at the 4-yard line. But a nice catch and run by him.
He had two good blocks out on the perimeter on that one too, with our outside guys, and our tackle come out and got a block, and Gabe did a good job of sticking it. You know, it takes some guts to do what you do on that particular play because you're running into the defense, and you got defensive guys running at you, and you know, to keep your eye on the ball, tuck it away, and get up the field, and trusting your guys that are going to block.
Well, no, Travis Newsom does that well. Oliver does it well, and obviously Gabe does it well. Those kids are fearless, and to Joby's and to their credit, Joby puts the ball right on the money time after time after time.
Yeah, if we hit them on the upfield shoulder where they don't have to stop it, it pays off.
And so we get to the 4-yard line, and we go into our dog formation. But it takes us 3 plays to get it into the end zone.
Yeah,
We hammered them on the same play 3 times in a row. Didn't we?
Will was desperate that he's going to make that deal work, and I got Dylan Gray standing right behind me. He said, "Coach, I can get it in the end zone." And you know, here he is sitting over with a cast on his hand. I said, "We're not going to try it tonight, Dylan."
So finally, on the 3rd attempt, we get it into the end zone. The extra point is good by Boyce Nichols, and we lead at this point in the game. 9 minutes and 47 seconds remaining in the third quarter, 33-20 over LaRue. LaRue on their first drive of the second half can't do much except for a 41-yard pass completion. Their drive is stopped when Jameer intercepts the pass from a scrambling quarterback and intercepts in the end zone and gives us the possession, the ball back on the 20-yard line. So Jameer with a great night last night, running, catching the ball, and playing defense.
Yeah, he had a really good night for us. You know, getting that interception there in the end zone was big to get us the ball back.
And so the Tigers take over at our 20. We get 1 first down. Key play in this series was the ball pops loose from Jameer as he gets the handoff. It pops up in the air a little bit. He bounces. He just grabs it back from in the air and is able to pick up yardage. And but we have to end up punting, and Boyce nails another great kick, 43 yards this time down to the LaRue 19-yard line. And LaRue can't move the ball and punts with the Tigers taking possession. This was another harried kick on the LaRue punter. He only got the ball back to the LaRue 29-yard line, punt of about 12, 13 yards on that particular punt. So the Tigers take over at the LaRue 29-yard line. We overcome another 2 motion penalties and score on a nice throw from Joby. But another catch in the end zone, another tremendous catch by Gabe East, who was sandwiched by 2 or 3 LaRue defenders and another Tiger receiver in that area. And just another one of these effort plays that we made all night last night. We wanted the ball more than they did, and Gabe got high enough off the ground, and Joby put it almost where nobody could catch it but Gabe.
That was a great effort by Gabe to, with what all was in that end zone, trying to, keeping his eye on the ball and making sure he gets it looked into the tuck and making a play. That was great effort on his part and a good throw. But Joby put the ball up where we had an opportunity, and Gabe made a play, and that was a big score because that puts us up, I think, 3 scores.
And Boyce adds the extra point. We go up at this point with 12 seconds left in the third quarter. We had dominated the third quarter, Caldwell County leading over LaRue at this time 40-20. LaRue, beginning of the fourth quarter, goes 3 and out. They have to punt from their 20-yard line. Trail returns the punt to the LaRue 36-yard line. Our next drive, the Tigers pick up 13 yards on 2 Jameer runs. But then we try for the home run rather than keep punching it on the ground, and Joby throws an interception. LaRue picks it off and returns it to their 22-yard line.
Well, we ran into a situation there. Jameer, Jameer got tired. We had to get Jameer out of the game, and Caleb Burden, who had run some effort in here, his hamstrings giving him some trouble, so we put him in. Then you got Dylan sitting back there with a cast on, and Seth's out with a concussion, so we were really limited on F. And so we decided, we'll put the ball up and see if we can get a score right here, because we'd rather ran the ball with Jameer, but Jameer, I mean, he was.
Well, we knew he had come out of the game, and we didn't know exactly what was happening on that particular play. Although obviously we were going for the home run, and as opposed to any of our wide receiver screens or anything like that.
And the good thing on that, Joby knew what he did wrong. We worked on that particular route of getting the ball thrown high on the post route in the end zone. He knew he didn't put enough air on it. Had he done that, he had auto over the top. But that's a learning situation for us.
Well, and again, with us having a 20-point lead, getting a score there would have really made the game almost over. Certainly, we go up 27 points, it would, in my mind, would have been over. But LaRue takes over, and they go another 3-and-out series, another series in the second half where our defense is dominating. They can't overcome a big penalty and have to punt to the Tigers. The Tigers taking possession at the LaRue 44-yard line. Our next drive, we manage 9 plays, picking up 2 first downs, but we don't. We get one of our first downs on a major penalty against LaRue. We have 2 on our own in this particular instance, a delay of game penalty. I know we were running the play clock down, but we did that really well one time. And had to take a penalty, and we also had a motion penalty. It just forcing us back out of field goal range. We were hoping in the box that boys would get a shot to get some practice and just to have that experience. But we have to punt, and on this particular play, only one LaRue County defender breaks free, but he's in the perfect place and blocks the punt.
That was number 11, I think.
Was that the one with the Jets?
That's the one with the Jets.
And so he, but here's the interesting thing on that. He picks it up. Boys has to recover and then begin the chase. And number 11 didn't have enough Jets to pull away from him. And a great effort by Boys to nail that kid diving at his feet. And normally when you dive at somebody's feet, I think the odds are 80% of the time they're going to go down, because that just does something to your running leverage.
Yeah.
And the back goes down and prevents a touchdown. Eventually they do get on the board, but just a great effort by Boyce Nichols on that play to save that touchdown at that particular point in the game. They LaRue County on their last drive of the night, they get on the board late on a touchdown pass. Caldwell County, this coming with 20 seconds left in the fourth quarter, Caldwell County securing a 40-27 win over the LaRue County Hawks. Then it got dicey again on the kickoff where they try an onside kick. It goes 9 yards. One of their guys picks it up and weaves through our line. I'm just glad we didn't hit him and kill him, because we probably would have had a personal foul penalty on that.
The referee on our sideline, he was standing right there on it. That kid touched that ball right about the 9, and he knew it because he threw his thing down. And I think LaRue County thought that it went 10 yards, but that referee was right on top of that.
Well, and obviously it was brought back, and that was we take over, go into our victory formation, and that's it. And we're going to pause right now, Ty, and take a break here from our sponsors, and we'll be back for the final segment of the show here in a few seconds.
Fortner Gas Company is a full-service local and family-owned propane company offering services in Princeton, Cadiz, Madisonville, and Murray. Right now, Fortner Gas is offering specials on propane. Fortner Gas offers Holland and Napoleon grills, Dixie choppers, and they also have Red Max weed eaters. Contact Fortner Gas Company today for all of your residential, commercial, and agriculture propane needs. Fortner Gas Company, a family tradition of service since 1951.
Colonel Sanders from KFC here to talk about the good old days. Well, the good old days are still here in chicken form, specifically in KFC's original recipe fried chicken with 11 herbs and spices. Our delicious chicken is still hand-breaded and pressure-fried just like it was then. Get your fill with 2 pieces of my original recipe in a $5 fill-up with mashed potatoes, a biscuit, a cookie, and a drink at a KFC near you. KFC, it's still finger-licking good. At participating KFC,
welcome back to the final segment of the Quarterback Show for this morning. The Tigers notched their 10th win of the season last night. Another successful, obviously hugely successful season for these young men, and will now play in the regional final this coming Friday night here at Tiger Stadium against the E-Town Panthers, a 41-0 winner over Tillman. Now let's break down some stats right now. Rushing last night, Jameer Riley, 24 carries, 123 yards. Trail, 2 for a -2. Caleb Burden, 1 carry, a -2 yards. Boyce Nichols, 1, a -14 yards. Joby, 2 carries, a -17 yards. And the team, two attempts at a -17 yards. So we have 32 attempts at rushing the ball and netting 71 yards. In the receiving stats, Travis Newsom with 5 catches, 52 yards. And we'll talk about Travis here in a few minutes as we move on into the sportscast here. Jameer Riley with 4 catches for 35 yards. Gabe East 3, 62 yards with a touchdown. Trail Riley 3 catches for 11 yards and a touchdown. Oliver Parker with 2 catches for 17 yards and a touchdown throwing the ball. Joby last night 16 of 23, 1 interception for 154 yards. Oliver 1 out of 1, no interceptions, 23 yards. Total of through the air for the Tigers last night of 177 yards, coupled with their 71 yards rushing. Tigers have 248 yards total offense. LaRue County edges us in that statistic. LaRue County getting 330 yards total offense last night, rushing the ball for 130 yards on 38 attempts and 6 catches for 200 yards. Their quarterback 6 out of 14 with 2 interceptions. Defensive stats last night, Hunter Van Hoosier, an outstanding game, and we mentioned the play of the linebackers. We'll see how that plays out here. Hunter Van Hoosier with 17 tackles, Will Bashir with 12 tackles, and a great effort in the backfield. Really was their nemesis of where he had not shown up the week before. David in the stat category, he was all over the stat category last night.
Yeah, he had a great game.
We thought he had set out the game before, but I don't know whether you said something to him about what the announcers had said about him, but he got back in the flow of the game well last night with 12 tackles. Cole Baker, 9 tackles. Dylan Gray, 8 tackles. Caleb Burden, 6 tackles. Ben Holt, 3. And one of Ben's tackles, what I remember on that was probably saved another long run by LaRue County, where he was the last line, maybe on a kickoff return. And Trail Riley, 3 tackles. Devin Kilgore, 3 tackles. 2 tackles each for Mac Englebright, Mitchell Harrelson. 1 each for Gabe East, Boyce Nichols, Jameer Riley, Travion Samuel, and Tate Van Hoosier. Jameer with 2 interceptions last night, and here's the sack stats. Will Bashir, 3.5 sacks. Dylan Gray, 1.5 sacks. Cole Baker, 1 sack, and these are just on the quarterback. But we had Will had 3 or 4 other tackles for loss, and as well as some of these other tackles for loss. So, and a blocked punt from Dylan Gray. But overall, David, a tremendous effort last night. These kids refused to die, so to speak. They were behind a couple times last night. Big plays sometimes get a team downtrodden, that didn't happen to us last night.
Yeah, I thought our kids did a great job of keeping their composure, and we'd get down and we'd get back in and go up, and it was back and forth, and I thought our kids did a great job of sticking with what we were trying to do offensively, and defensively we were getting good pressure on the quarterback and making plays, and we didn't give up a big long run. That was a good thing. We gave up a couple of pass plays deep, but running game wise we didn't do that. And just like I told our kids, this is a special group of kids. They're fun to coach, and I told them before we went out, I said I get out of bed in the morning, I look forward to going to practice because it's fun to be with those guys, and that's why we're having success.
Well, and it shows. I mean, we have a great group of young men who buy into what you're doing. And you mentioned this past week some of the best practices all year, and that leads itself into performing well.
Wednesday, I mean, when you go out in the field, it's kind of muddy. It's probably not going to be a good deal. I think we dropped maybe 2 balls the whole practice, and the kids would have had a lot of pep to them. And to me, that set the tone for what we did last night.
And we mentioned that our opponent this coming week is E-Town, and that game is now set for a 7 o'clock start local time. And another team has to drive 40 yards or miles, excuse me, football on my mind, to get to Princeton. Let's focus on the injury situation now. We knew that Travis went out last night with a vicious hit to the back, and his status, David, is what?
I talked to his mother last night, and Mike, our trainer, texted me, and he's got a concussion. He went ahead and sent him to the hospital last night because Mike said, just want to make sure there wasn't something else going on. I did some tests, I think, and his mom said by the time I got him home, he was 200% better. He was still kind of droggy, but he does have a concussion.
And that'll force him out of this upcoming week, or how does that percussion or protocol work?
He'll have to get with Mike on Monday when we come back, and there's a pretty good chance he won't be playing Friday night.
Any other injuries we sustained last night?
Well, last week I thought when we had the radio show, everything was good, and then I get back on Monday, we got Russ Bashir, was out, and then the next day we find out Seth Slayton's out, so hopefully that doesn't happen this week. Hopefully, if we left there last night, everybody's in good shape.
We noticed from the box that John Kelly Hughes was trotting up down the track.
John Kelly, there toward the end of the game, he got rolled up on his ankle, and he got it out that last 2 series. He was hurting pretty good. And,
we didn't know whether he had been subbed for, or just whether he was trying to stay warm, or he was trying.
Well, Mike taped him, and he was making sure he got moving, and he was moving on his ankle. He kind of rolled up on it, and like I said, he got it out those last 2 series on offense.
And back to the Travis situation, I heard before the beginning of the year that high school officials in Kentucky were to make it a point of emphasis this year that you didn't have a wide receiver or running back or anybody set up to be hit from the front or from the back. And I'm not sure whether it was from the head up or head down, but Travis, when he had that ball get into his arms, this kid that hit him had a 5-yard run at him and just assaulted him, more or less.
To me, it was a defensive player.
No doubt.
Because it was a situation where he did not have time to react, and by rule, that's a defensive player. Now, whether or not I couldn't tell whether he got hit head to head, helmet to helmet, but it was a defensive player based on the rule. I had to look at the film to see if it was helmet.
It looked to us like he got him in the shoulder pads, but he got him
Mike described the injury kind of like if you get hit in a car and like a whiplash type deal.
Yes.
Which that can cause a concussion because of the way it makes your brain
bounce around. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, after seeing that play, I was somewhat a little infuriated when we have about 3 or 4 ARV tacklers taking down a running back. And the whitehead comes over and throws when they're blowing the whistles and trying to stop the play, and he throws the penalty flag for unsportsmanlike conduct, I guess.
I didn't understand that call. I mean, I didn't think we hit that kid late. And he said it's on three of your players.
We had about 3 or 4 bringing the kid down, but he kept on chugging, and there were other officials in that area that weren't in there trying to halt the play or stop the play. And I just at that particular time of the game, I don't, and the kid wasn't being punished and set up to be blasted either.
Right.
We were just trying to take him to the ground. But anyway, so much for the point of emphasis. But maybe you can find out something. We can talk about that on the Friday night pregame coaches show.
All right. I'll call Julian.
And I'm sure after the game, a very happy band of young men in the locker room.
Yeah, we met there on the field, and I told them before the game, I said, "You win this one, it'll be a great feeling because we're going to be playing in the regional championship at our place again." And, something we've done since 2012, and I said, we got a chance to play E-Town, and if you remember down in that far corner, the last second of the game, we had our hopes of going to the state championship game that year were ended because of the last second play. So, we got the same team coming in here. Mark Brown does a great job coaching that football team, and they're going to bring a very good football team in here Friday night.
And, and last year, the score, we played them tougher last year than the score indicated. We lose a touchdown because of their soccer markings on the field in the end zone when Zach catches it clearly in the field of play, but stepping on the yellow line rather than the white line there. So
we got that same kid back at number 14. He's a senior this year that gave us fits last year.
That was Becker.
That's him.
Yes, yeah. And we'll talk about him in the pregame show as well. But we have a 10-win season, an outstanding accomplishment from these young men. You mentioned the offensive line now has grown up. They've got one season under their belt and now understand adjustments and how you have to play and what you need to do to halt something that we weren't prepared for in practice and all that.
Another thing I want to mention, and he's probably not going to like for me to say this on the radio, but of all of our players, Joby probably was under more pressure last night than any kid we had on our football team because of the fact that Josh, his cousin, was the head coach there at LaRue and all the connections there. And, I thought he had a great game, and, I was really concerned, how is this going to affect him coming out and play. He wears number 13 for Crad, who is Joe Kelly's son that passed away last spring. That's why he's wearing that number, so that was a part of it. And I just want to make sure that kid understands he had a tremendous effort under a lot of pressure that a lot of kids couldn't have taken.
Well, and I've been a Joby fan since he started playing baseball and football and running around with my grandson. And Joby's Joby. Again, accurate passing last night. A cool leader, and with another year to go, the sky's the limit for that young man. And I'm sure there was pressure from the family sides, but he handles things well.
Yes, he did.
And any final thoughts, David, before we end the show?
We need to make sure we thank some people. Last week before the Hart County game, Mr. Angelidis at Majestic House, they fed us along with Bashir Sawmill and First Southern Bank. They fed us there last week. This past week, Mr. Bob Hayes was a part of that one, whether you want me to say it on radio or not. You were a part of that one. And
just so I can write it off on my tax return. No, I'm just kidding.
And then Dynamite, Mike, Danny, and Mary, they took care of us Thursday night at Poly Eyes. And of all our players like it, but there's one that really likes it, and that's Earl. He had 2 great meals, and I don't know if Mr. Angelines let him come back to Majestic House or not. He ate so much chicken, but we really appreciate that. That's our kids appreciate it, and it just shows you what this community's like when it comes to our football team and supporting this football team. Another effort of togetherness and something that makes team bonding a special pleasure, and as you say, a treat for you to come to work every day knowing that you're going to get these kids to work with. Exactly. And, Mr. Redfern, you go to him at any time, and he takes care of us, and that's a big, big help for us.
Well, we're fortunate to be able to play next Friday night, not through any luck, just through some hard work and some tremendous play by our young men. That's going to do it for this version of the Quarterback Show. We'll be back next Friday night with the David Barnes pregame show at 6 o'clock. The Tigers will be looking to avenge their previous 2 losses to E-Town in the regional finals. For Coach David Barnes, one other thing.
I like to, Coach Al Starnes, who's retiring at the end of this season. They got a big win last night, so they're playing in the regional final Friday night against Campbellsville. So we wish them the best and hope they get to move on. And that's got to be a big thing for Coach Starnes, being that this is his last year, and those kids, making a run.
His kids are coming together, I'm sure, about the same type of effort his kids are giving that we're getting here from our kids. Exactly. The will to win and to let the season continue for one more game.
So he gets to play at home too.
So that's going to do it for Coach David Barnes, for one of his friends with us here in the studio, Gary Bartlett, and Ty Englebright. This is Bob Hayes thanking you for listening to us this morning and hoping you enjoy this beautiful weekend.
Hello, this is Gloria Smith with the Law Office of Jeff Russo. Are you buying or selling real estate? Are you planning on refinancing your existing home loan? If so, you should be aware that you have your choice in which attorney provides the legal services associated with such transactions. Our law office has over 50 years of experience in real estate law. We pride ourselves on being cost-effective and having a quick turnaround time. If you're in need of such services, call us today at 365-2763 or find us on the web at www.jeffrussolaw.com. We are located in downtown Princeton.